freedom starts, when I can touch the earth with my naked feet, when I can feel the air on my skin, when I can breathe fresh air, when I can eat fruits from the tree directly and don't have to pay for it. I want it to be not in a room, I want to have a space around me and living with animals, with the stars in the sky. I want to see the moon and be one with the sea, mountains around me. So here I am, and I feel super happy to be here. I don't want to go back to the city.
So if you didn't know, this is my mother. She teaches Kung Fu and she's a great leader, great mother, and can show a lot of things. A great person, human, great soul. That's Julia.
I'm Julia and I'm 46 years old and I'm from Germany. I'm a mother of 3 children. Jonah is my first son, the oldest son, and from his experiences I can really learn, and we have a great relationship. I'm happy to be able to share with him many things. It's a great soul too, I can say. Yeah. I'm a Kung Fu teacher. I'm doing Kung Fu since about 15 years and I'm teaching since 6 years now, or 7 years. I had a lot of group, like 30 students. I'm a raw vegan chef, also collage artist, doing collage and also illustration for magazines.
If I give you a golden fountain, will you be my son? If I give you a golden fountain, will you be my son?
And also I started a new life-changing music project together with this wonderful soul Guillermo Guzman, who introduced me into the music world. So our powerful band name Amazaya, Strength of God, was born in the beginning of April 2023. Since this very little time, we've been practicing every day, intensely, writing, finding out, singing about the truth of living nature.
What inspired you to raw vegan fruitarian diet?
So I'm raw vegan since about 9 years now, and then I met you, and you are inspiring me to the fruit diet. So since 2 months now I'm on a fruit diet, and I started to eat fruits in the city, and that was hard, but now I'm here in the nature, and it's another change. A raw vegan lifestyle came to me when I met a friend from Hamburg. She healed herself. She had cancer. She let me try things she prepared at her home, and immediately my body felt a message. There is something I've never tasted before, I've never felt before, and I could feel the vibration. And also she gave me 2 books I was reading. I wasn't reading so many books before, but when I read these books, it made click in my head, and I was straight changing my diet from one day to another. And it felt like a new world, like I had fog in front of my head or my eyes before. I couldn't see things, like it's a different personality or a different feeling of life. For example, I took my children out of school because I was thinking about life, about what do I do in the day, and how do I want to live, and what makes sense in my life. So the food gives the message to me. Not only the food, but there's light in the food. There's everything represents a new world in the food for me. With the raw vegan diet, at the beginning, the first year, it's a long time ago, but it was not easy at all, because I had 3 children, and I wanted all of them to change at the same time, because it's like if you are a smoker and everybody's smoking and you want to stop smoking, and everybody around you still smokes and you want to stop, it's hard. So I wanted everybody to do the same, but it doesn't work. So but I tried to change the diet for everyone, because I was the one who was preparing the food most of the time. and that was very stressful. And I stopped it after 2 years. It's very long, but that was the hardest part. I think it's important to care only about yourself and not about others. So this is what I've learned. And when I changed my diet to Fruitarian, I could feel, which I wasn't able to feel so much when I was on raw vegan diet, because I believed so much in raw vegan diet, and I felt much better than before. Of course, I had more strength, I was more flexible, I do Kung Fu, I was fitter than before. And also when I changed to Fruitarian, I can feel that my digestion was even much better. And also my mind is more clear, I can say this. I started this transition in the city, which was, I guess, harder than if I would have started here. I followed this feeling and I felt amazing, so lighter than before and much clearer. I mean, I was already on raw vegan diet, but still it's a very big difference. I expected more. I couldn't stand it, but I could. And I felt very clear and strong with this decision, and even if I had not the best conditions. So, and then the feeling to go into nature was super strong, so I follow also this direction. When I was here and eating the fruits directly from the tree, it's more different than in the city. Eating fruits from the tree felt divine. I see it as a different information which is coming through my body and through my mind. I'm more connected to the universe, and also I was checking myself. Do I get super thin, or what about my power? Do I have less power because I love to move? I love Kung Fu, I love swimming and running and climbing. I can feel that I can train my muscles still, even I feel I have more power. I can even stand up at night and I feel, oh, now I have a lot of power. What can I do? Okay, I make some push-ups or something like this. And I'm more flexible. I can stretch. I can make a split easier when I'm on this diet. I'm still teaching Kung Fu. I can see I have not only more power, also for a long term. I have power the whole day. I don't need so many breaks, or I don't need to eat so many meals. Sometimes I felt a little bit less power, but it was okay, because maybe this feeling I have to move was more relaxed. There was a little force I had in the city, which I can see now. I don't need this as an expression at the moment. Even I liked it. Now it's naturally coming. If I want to move, I move, and if I don't feel like moving or expressing myself through movements, it's fine. One day I was struggling if it's good that what I'm doing, if I do something wrong. I needed something to ground myself. I didn't know what can I eat except fruits. And I was thinking maybe I could cook a little vegetables or like this, which I didn't do since 10 years. But I couldn't imagine to eat nuts or shakes or something, or greens, but I didn't do it. I just was thinking maybe I have to ground myself, but there was no need. I thought maybe I would have fear or emotions coming up, but it was quite calm, except maybe 2 times. So what I found really interesting is that I was on a raw vegan diet for a long time, and also teaching raw vegan preparation and how to make yogurt out of nuts. Or I know a lot about herbs. I ate herbs, I ate greens a lot, and now I was thinking, wow, everything doesn't make sense anymore. And it's like there's a world which existed for 10 years which I gave up, and I realized, oh, this doesn't make sense anymore. And this is, I mean, you can imagine if you believe in something like your whole life, and then suddenly nothing makes sense out of this, there's a new world. This is how I feel with this transition also. So I was living in the city like 5 years now, and the last year I was feeling so strong I have to move into nature. I've already lived here 6 years ago, not directly on this land, but next to this land. And I made the experience to live outside, also in the caves, and I knew the way of living. When I was in the city, I had this all the time in my mind, and I knew I will come back because this is how I want to live. And so I did. I know this land from a friend. She's a raw vegan chef as well, and she recommended this place to me to live with my children here. It was a raw vegan community, and it's kind of still is. It's changing.
Do you prefer to live here, or you don't mind if there will be any chance to live somewhere in the mountains and maybe to not be so close to the sea, but to have your own space? What's your preferences?
I like that I have both. I have the sea and I have the mountains. I love the mountains. I love this energy. If I get an offer in the mountains, I would go there. 5 or 6 years ago, when my children were more tiny, we spent in the caves until end of November, and then it was too cold for us. We were not so much prepared. Yeah, and other things were happening also at the same time. So we were spending in yurts and also in containers where we lived. The circumstances were like we met some friends where we lived together with unschooling community on a land where there were yurts and containers. So we spent the winter there. Yeah, you need more blankets when you're in the cave. Not so comfortable, yes. You need a little bit of sun in a day. Or you have to move, you have to make some exercise. Yeah, you need a very thick sleeping bag, and you need something warm. Or you have to sleep all together and warm up. Or you invite a bear to come to your place, or I don't know.
Do you prefer to live on your own land or in a community?
We were living on Cheremoya land, not on this land earlier with my children, and there were only us. And here on this land there were people coming and going. They just stayed for a short time, and we were guests. Now I'm here with 3 other people on this land, almost friends and family, so I'm happy about this. And at the same time I can feel as I like to have my own space, and then there's another land next to my space, and we can meet if we want, or yeah, share if we want fruits or whatever, experiences, and that's it. I don't want and I don't need to live in community. If it happens for a while, it's okay. And so I'm open for many things. So if it feels right and okay, it's fine.
If you will receive now a gift like about 1 or 2 or 3 million euros, but you should spend this money in 1 week, what you will do?
Maybe I would look for a land which I like, and I would buy it, and then I would plant many variety of different trees.
Do you cut or shave the hair on any part of your body, and why?
So I'm still on my way. I shave today. I shave my legs, and and I want to stop that, but it's I think it's better to let it grow. Yeah.
Do you think one day it will be possible for you?
Yes, I'm struggling. My hair was a little longer, and it was more wild. I was in the city, And when I'm in the city, I see all people around have straight hair and haircuts. So I went to the barber and said to him, please cut my hair straight. And he did. And I felt very different. I could feel something is missing, and I want to have my hair back now. And yeah, I can feel with my hair. So it's something's missing for the moment.
Do you use cosmetics, soap, shampoo?
I use bicarbonate for hair, for cleaning, and sometimes I use organic herbs for hair, or etheric oil. I like to smell like rose or jasmine or whatever. So this is all what I use. For hair, I just sometimes I use organic shampoo, but most of the time only water or bicarbonate. For teeth, for a long time I made my own paste, with herbs and bicarbonate also. When I was about 19 years old, I started not with Kung Fu, but with Taekwondo. A friend of mine, he asked me to come to the training, and I was very weak at that time. And when I started doing Taekwondo, there was a very strong connection to this kind of expression and or artwork, I would say, with my body. I loved it. I was training like every day and very strong, and mostly with men. I think it was like military that time. I loved to fight and to sweat and to express myself very deeply with my body. I got stronger and stronger, and I learned that I can use my body also with breathing. I made the experience that I loved this breathing, and how I got stronger through practicing, of course. I did it too strong and too extreme. I stopped after about 3 years, and I made a pause. I was pregnant, and I concentrated on my children the most of the time. I stopped it, and then after maybe 8 years, another friend knocked at my door and asked me to come to training, which was Kung Fu. And I made these movements the first time after years, which were different to Taekwondo because it was more helpful for the body, not destroying my body. The Kung Fu training for me was more healthy to my body than in comparison to Taekwondo. And the exercise I made was the basic exercise of power, which are 12 movements where you are moving energy in a certain way. And I felt in love with these movements and also with Kung Fu. And after maybe 2 weeks, I was standing in our living room, and suddenly my body just started hitting, kicking, and jumping and making these movements, Kung Fu movements. I couldn't control my body, and I was thinking, I think I have to follow this. And so I started again training, but with more health care, and I loved it more than Taekwondo, I can say now, because and still love it, because I love the animals in the Kung Fu, and for me it's more aesthetic and more soft, and it's an artwork for me. I love the language of moving my body, so better to move my body than to talk. I do intermittent fasting. I can recommend to everyone. It's very healthy, I think, and it feels right for me. Before I was raw vegan, I only eat once a week, and I felt very connected and very light, but it was more unconscious than I would do it now. So that maybe will be the next step to try to fast for longer term.
What do you think about the war? Is this a karmic consequence or anything else?
For me, it's the outside of my inner conflict. could be interesting to talk about where does war start, because also in the city or in, for example, in a land like Germany where's no war, there is war, but maybe it's not, you cannot see, it's very subtle. The war is there, but in a different way. I think in a family can start war, but you cannot see from the outside. But there's a lot of violence happening in many places where it seems like there is peace. But we should look, where does war begin? What is war? Negative thoughts can create war, and also, if with words or with our thoughts we can create peace, and we can create war. So I think, it's everything is in the right place always. Yeah.